get situated. The meeting will come to order. Would you please rise for Pledge of Allegiance led by Lieutenant Randall?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. The following matters will come before the License Commission today. This is our regularly scheduled meeting. And this meeting the minutes have been previously filed with the city clerk. The order of the agenda will be as follows. Initially, we'll deal with applications submitted for consideration. We'll begin with item number 1, CEIZS, 72 Squire Road. Luis Oliveira is the event manager. This is an application for a one-day entertainment common victuals license to be exercised at the Beachmont School on Saturday, June 10th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. with a rain date of Saturday, June 24th, 2023. The event is to be a family at the park event. The expected attendance is 200 to 300 over the course of the day. Is there someone here from CEIZS? Yes, would you come to the microphone, please, sir, and state your name and address for the record?
And just hit the button.
My name is Arthur Oliveira, and I represent CEIZS at 72 Squire Road, Revere. I live at 20 Augustus Street, Revere.
Thank you very much, sir. Would you tell us briefly what you'd like to do with this entertainment and common victuals license?
Yes, so we had an event similar to this already. We held it at the church, which was at 72 Squire Road, Revere. That was probably about 2019, before the pandemic, and that was a really good event. We had a really good outcome. Since the pandemic, we have not done one similar, and we're looking to do it now a little larger. We do events like this at our church in Florida, which is in Deerfield Beach, and we're hoping to do something here as well, serve the community and have this, for the citizens and the people who live in the neighboring area. So the event would be a full day. We're hoping, to do bounce houses, food, face painting, a library, things for family and for the kids.
Okay, thank you very much. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
I'm not sure. Is this a benefit or an
Well, yes. Is this a benefit? Will you be charging for the face painting? What's
No, everything will be fully free.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a benefit event for the community.
All right.
Will any
thank
alcohol be served at this event?
No.
You. Are those the questions? We want to move to the next section of the meeting?
Yes.
Very good. We'll close this section, sir.
Thank you.
And we're going to ask for proponents. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of CEIZS and this event? I don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Are there any opponents? Is there anybody opposed to the issuing of this license? I don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section.
We'd just like to ask Lieutenant Randall if he feels that you're saying 300 throughout the day, or?
That's what we expect throughout the full day. We're going to start setting up, around 9 a.m. that day and have everything taken down by 5. So we estimate, that from the time it begins to the time it ends, that's how much we will be, ready to receive.
Okay, and there's no alcohol served?
No alcohol served.
Now, will you be utilizing the parking lot, or will you be utilizing the fields? How, like it says,
I have a
bouncy houses and stuff like that. Where are those going to be set up? I didn't see a diagram with your.
So I have a diagram here, if I can present that to you.
Can I see it, please?
Yeah, can I bring it up?
Are you thinking
Thank you. Okay. So you're gonna be utilizing the baseball field and the field behind the school?
Exactly.
All right.
And the
you-
parking lot for parking
In
cars.
the parking lot to park cars? All right, I mean, it seems like a reasonable, setup.
Well, Lieutenant Randall just told me that they've had this before, and
He's comfortable with this?
Yes, I remember when they had it, if it was 2019, I remember when they had it at the church, and it was, yeah, it was a small family event, and I'm sure this is gonna be the same type of thing.
Exactly.
Very good. All right, well, thank you very much, sir. I appreciate you bringing this diagram, and I hope your event is successful if we issue the license. Do we want any further discussion, or are we gonna operate on a motion?
So long as there's no further discussion, I move to approve the one-day entertainment and common vicular license.
I'll second the motion.
Very good. The motion and license is approved. The application for a one-day entertainment common victuals license, excuse me, for CEIZS Florida, for a license to be exercised at the Beachmont School on Saturday, June 10th, 2023, from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., with a rain date of Saturday, June 24th, 2023, same time, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. The event is a family at the park, and the expected attendance to 200 to 300, and that application is approved. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you all.
Item number 2, FLA USA, Harry Delarusso Stadium. Manuel Maziel is the event manager. This is an application for a one-day malt wine license. The application of FLA USA to be exercised at Harry Delarusso Stadium on Sunday, May 28th, 2023, from 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. This is going to be a mini tournament of soccer featuring retired professional soccer players. The expected attendance is 200. Is there someone here from FLA USA? Is that the gentleman who called? Okay, we'll move this. He's gotten delayed, so we'll move this down on the agenda. Excuse me. Item number 3. Beirut Espresso Inc., 3 Everett Street, Unit C. Linda Fayad is the manager. This is an application for a common victuals license. The application of Beirut Espresso Inc. for a common victuals license to be exercised at 3 Everett Street, Unit C. The requested hours are Sunday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. The requested seating is 40, and this is continued from the April meeting. Is there someone here from Beirut Espresso? Ma'am, would you step up to the microphone, please, and provide your name and address for the record?
You just turned it off.
What's on? Okay. So my name is Linda Fayad. I'm the manager at Beirut Espresso. It's coffee shop and bakery at 3 Everett Street. We've been there for a while, but we never get to the meeting until now.
Okay, and what do you want to do with this common victuals license?
To remain opening the store,
I'm sorry?
to open the coffee shop and bakery.
Have you been operating right along
Yes.
without a license? Is that what you're saying?
Yes,
Oh, so you've been there for a while
year and a half.
with no license?
Well, I have all that inspections. I have actually, what's it called, operation from the city. I paid everything, but I never actually get in any issue, and I didn't know about the application or what should I do until I met Maggie probably a month ago.
So have you passed all the inspectional
I did.
services? You have.
Yes.
No, I don't, we don't have any copies of any inspections, do we?
I do have the inspection all actually get signed yesterday. I get the paper and they get signed all the applications.
This business has been open for quite a while. No license.
Are those final inspections? All right, very good. Thank you very much for providing that.
Thank you.
We will close that section of the hearing. Are there any proponents? Is there anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of Beirut Espresso Incorporated? I don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Is there any opponents or anybody opposed to the issuing of this common victualer's license? I don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Motion and/or further discussion?
Well, I'll make a motion to approve, but it's unfortunate you've been open that long without a license. But we haven't had any complaints that I know of, so I will make a motion to approve.
I second that motion.
Very good. The application of Beirut Espresso, Inc. for a common victular license is approved. The application will be exercised at 3 Everett Street, Unit C. The requested hours of operation will be Sunday through Saturday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. The requested seating is 40. Thank you very much, ma'am. Good luck. Item number 4, Jenna Diorio, DBA The Bracelet Adventure, 36 Roland Road. Jenna Diorio is the owner. This is an application for a license to buy and sell gold, silver, and precious metals and jewelry. The application of Jenna Diorio, DBA The Bracelet Adventure, to sell the gold, silver, and precious metals and jewelry will be made in-home and sales will be on internet only. This is a continuation from the April meeting. Is there someone here from the Bracelet Adventure? You step up to the microphone, please, ma'am, and state your name and address for the record.
Jenna Diorio, 36 Rolling Road, Revere.
Very good. Can you come a little closer and pull that down? Thank you. All right, well, what are your plans for this license, ma'am?
Yeah, so as of right now, I go to local community craft shows and like vendor events. Ultimately, I do want to sell online, and having this license will allow me to have credibility. I also want to offer like make your own bracelet classes for the community as well in the near future.
Very good. Do you plan on buying and selling gold or silver or operating as a pawn shop?
No, nothing like that. I have an example right here. I just make basic bracelets. I just use like gold plated, sometimes like sterling silver or regular silver. So it's pretty low volume right now, but I'm looking to expand.
Very good. Excuse me. Any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
Well, yeah, I've gotten a couple of calls from, I don't know if anyone is here, we will ask for proponents and opponents. But I don't know if that area, it is all single families. I don't know if it's zoned for businesses to put a license in that area.
That's what I asked when I originally filled out the application, whether I needed it or not, and the person I filled it out with mentioned to move forward with it. So it's solely online, nobody's coming to my house or anything like that. I'm going to events.
Excuse me, are you gonna have classes?
At my house? No, it would be within the local community.
So where would you give these classes?
Potentially maybe like I could partner with Parks and Recs and maybe do that like the Garfield School or something like that. But I'm definitely figuring all that out.
Yeah, I'm just concerned, I know the area very well. I have a lot of dear friends who live in that area, and I know they've been opposed to things like this. Once you have a license, you can operate a jewelry business out of there once we give you a license. And you will be working with some gold, won't be solid gold, but gold plated, is that correct?
Yeah, it's just gold plated. Like, I'm not looking to have like this huge business and people coming to my house. The only thing I'm doing in my house is actually making the bracelets, and then I would do everything outside my house. But when I talked to the person who I did the licensing with, she mentioned that I should move forward with coming here today and doing the license, because I was up in the air whether I actually really needed this or I didn't, because I sell on a website called Shopify and like Etsy and stuff like that.
Okay, so how will you get your delivery of supplies?
I just order them online and they come right to my house. It's not like a huge high volume.
Right. I know now it isn't. I'm sure you're running a nice business now, but hopefully you have a much bigger business going forward.
Well, if it got to that point, I would definitely rent like warehouse space. It wouldn't be out of my house.
Right. I'm just concerned about the neighbors. I don't know. We will ask for if there's any opponents. If they did show up today, those that were concerned, they should show up and let us know what their feelings were about it.
Yeah, my neighbors are aware of this, but it's like I mentioned, it's nothing in like a big capacity. I'm not sure if I even actually need the license. I was told that I should fill it out and come here.
I don't think you do need a license to buy, sell gold, silver, precious metals, and jewelry online. I think that if you were trying to open up a commercial space, it's a license you should have, especially if patrons are actually frequenting your business in person. If you're doing it online, there's no reservation there. The reservation for myself as well as my fellow commissioners is conducting this business out of your home, which once you begin to advertise, and let's say you get a Google presence and someone says, oh, I can actually go to 36 Roland Road to try to buy, sell precious metals and silver, and they show up at your house. And there's some reservations there, so although you believe that the neighbors might be okay with it, we've received opposition from some of your neighbors in your community that does not want such a commercial type business in such a residential area. I think that you can do very well with an online venture, and that in the event that you get to a place where you realize that having a commercial storefront would be beneficial, then this license would be appropriate for that. So my reservation is issuing a license in such a residential area only invites,
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Right.
I wish I would have known, because when I was filling out the paperwork, the person who I did it with, I was like, do I really need this or I don't? And she was like, yes, you do. Let's move forward on this. So I wish I would have got like the correct information from the start before going through like this entire
Right.
process. But what you're saying, basically, it's better to do it like on a smaller scale without getting the license, not to.
did you obtain are you registered with the city? Do you get a business certificate with the city?
Yeah, I have a DBA and I did the mass tax certification.
Right, and you have your EIN and you have all this stuff, and all of those things is essentially all you need to run your online business.
Okay, I
But if,
figured.
you know,
That's not accurate. Maggie, would
I'm not
you,
sure.
would you step in here and explain the ordinance and why the license is
City
needed?
ordinance says that gold and silver and precious metals are regulated properties and need to be licensed, the buying and selling. It also lists jewelry making as an allowable home occupation. So she needs the license for the selling, but as far as the occupation goes, it's a perfectly acceptable home occupation according to city ordinance and
So,
zoning
so she can do
regulations.
it in her own home
Yes,
as an occupation, which is fine, but
to make it, yes. But she's not planning to sell it out of her storefront, out of her home front. She's simply planning to sell it online and/or at fairs.
But I guess what my question is, and I agree with that, I think Commissioner Machino summed it up very well. I think having a license to sell precious metals, gold and silver, which you say you're not going to, it's mostly costume jewelry.
Yeah, most of it's
Okay.
costume jewelry.
So I think I would say that you don't need a license for that. But if you did sell gold and silver, I think you're in a different category. And I think.
That's not what Maggie just said.
Right, well, estimate of precious metals.
And jewelry
she's
at home
doing-
sales and making.
that's not what she
It's
described.
a
though.
licensed entity that needs to be licensed, and it can be done by ordinance out of someone's home. That's what she said.
Can you-
Just so we're clear.
Can you clarify exactly what you'll be making, buying, selling, except, what would, just clarify for the commission, exactly what you'll be doing for your business? And does it
Yeah.
involve what this license encompass? I just want to be clear from
Not
that.
exactly. That's why we're trying to figure out if this license like would make sense. So like here's an example. Like I make like simple beaded bracelets. These are just 18K gold plated in between with like a compass charm on it. So a lot of it is similar. I do some like stainless steel charms. I brought some if you want to see them. That say like different sayings on them. So a lot of them I do for like I have cards for like Mother's Day themes, sports themes, and stuff like that. So I have like a whole different line of bracelets. Currently, I've just been going to like big vendor events, like at the Seaport in Boston, and then like smaller local craft fairs. But I haven't sold online yet, because like if you go on like Shopify and those websites, it's like typically a business license is required to be on those websites. So I just wanted to make sure I have like all the proper channels and make sure if I need it, that I get it. If I don't need it, then I don't get it.
Does that fall under the purview of the ordinance?
Okay, very good. Do you have any more questions?
I don't,
Any more questions?
I don't have any more questions.
Very good. We'll close this section of the hearing. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
Thank you.
Are there any opponents? Any proponents? Is there anybody that would like to speak on behalf of the Bracelet Adventure and the issuing of this license? I don't see or hear anybody. Will close that section. Are there any opponents? Is there anybody opposed to the issuing of this license? I don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Okay, so we've heard that from Maggie what the situation is regarding the license. Do we need any further discussion, or do you want to move to a motion?
Well, I'm gonna make a motion to deny only because of where it is, a business in that residential area. And it's just unfortunate that when commissioners get calls opposing something, who live right in the area and 3 houses down, I wish they had come and voiced their opinion and how they felt about the traffic. And traffic is picked up everywhere. It's not just that area. But I think more deliveries. And in that area, I'd like to see us save a neighborhood. So I can't vote for this, and I hope the business goes well. And you have to come back to us and you start with gold and silver, and you do get some warehouse space. I would be more than glad to vote for that. But at this time, I would not be able to vote for just in that area.
Okay, very good. I would make a motion that we approve. The lady has indicated that she's going to sell off premises, that she's just going to make the jewelry there. Deliveries are done via delivery services for all kinds of stuff every day in every neighborhood without any type of disruption at all. There's no one that's going to come to the house. It is a business that needs to be licensed if it's going to operate. And so I would make a motion that we approve.
so I guess I have the deciding vote. I share my fellow commissioners' reservations about the traffic that could potentially come to the area, folks showing up at the home to purchase and or attempt to sell gold, silver, precious metals, etc., which is the essence of the license itself. However, I credit Ms. Is it Diorio? Diorio's testimony here before us, that that's not her intent, that she intends to have the license so that she can attend vendor shows and be able to set up an online presence. And she also mentioned on record that I can certainly credit that she does not intend to have people showing up at her home to buy and engage in business. So I certainly want to see her flourish with her business that she's starting. And I trust that if it becomes an issue for the neighborhood, it'll be brought to our attention. So I would second the chairman's motion to approve the license.
Very good. The application for the license to buy, sell gold, silver, and precious metals and jewelry is approved. The application for the bracelet adventure to be exercised at 36 Roland Road for the purpose of jewelry, in-home jewelry making and sales on the internet is approved. Thank you very much. Item number 5, Immaculate Conception Parish, 127 Winthrop Avenue. Jeanette Arrigo is the event manager. This is an application for a one-day malt, wine, and common victuals license. The application of Immaculate Conception Church for the one-day license to be exercised at 127 Winthrop Avenue in the school gym on Friday, June 16th, 2023, from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. This is for a youth fundraiser gala dinner. The expected attendance is 180. Is there someone here from Immaculate Conception Parish? Would you step up to the microphone, please, ma'am, and state your name and address for the record?
So my name is Janet Urrego, and it's in 127 Winthrop Avenue.
Thank you very much. Can you explain what you'd like to do with this license and how the alcohol will be dispensed?
Okay, I don't know if you remember, but I was here in March. We had the same dinner, and it's just the dinner, but we want to sell beer and wine. Last time that I was here, I said we were selling the bottle of wine
Yes.
only, and then you recommended to have a place and sell by glass and to have a bartender, so that's what we're going to do
Very
in this
good.
event. We used the bracelet last time, it works well. That's
Okay,
it.
and so you have a bartender now that's going to be dispensing alcohol?
Yes,
And that bartender has got previous experience?
yes.
Very good.
And they helped us last time, and we did it very well. We have the place with the glasses, and the person who received the money gave the bracelets. It went well.
Okay, very good, thank you. Any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
I have no questions. I do remember the last function that you had, and it went very well. The only change is you'll have a bartender this time serving individual drinks. No wine on the table.
No.
No wine. Okay. No, I have no other questions.
I have no questions as well. I
Very
remember the
good, we'll
event.
close this section of the hearing. Are there any proponents? Is there anybody that would like to speak on behalf of Immaculate Conception School? We don't see or hear anybody, we'll close that section. Excuse me, is there anybody opposed to the issuance of this license? Don't see or hear anybody, we'll close that section. We can move to motions and/or discussion if you'd like.
I have no other questions. If there's no questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
Very good.
I'd second that motion.
Very good. That application for the the application for the one-day malt wine and common victual license for Immaculate Conception Parish is approved. This will be exercised at 127 Winthrop Avenue in the school gym on Friday, June 16th, from 6 p.m. to 11 p.m. for a youth fundraiser gala dinner. The expected attendance is 180. Thank you very much. That license is approved. Good luck with your event.
Thank you so much.
Item number 6, Blessed Mother of the Morning Star Parish at St. Mary's Church, 670 Washington Avenue. Ralph DeChico is the event manager. This is an application for a one-day malt wine, common victular, and entertainment license. The application for these licenses for the Mother of the Morning Star Parish at St. Mary's will be exercised at St. Mary's Church, 670 Washington Avenue on Saturday, June 17th, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. for a country dinner dance for parishioners. The expected attendance is 90, and the entertainment to be provided by a DJ. Your name and address for the record, please. sir.
Sure. Good afternoon. Rick Frenny, 37 Madison Street. I'm the Holy Name President there for St. Mary's Church, and we're running a fundraiser for the church, a patriotic country dance. We're going to have a little fiddler there, some country line dance teachers, ribs, chicken, and beer and wine.
Sounds like a great event.
Oh, it sure is.
Do any of my fellow commissioners have any?
No, I'm
Questions?
familiar with the events at St. Mary's, always a great time.
Yeah, sure
I
is.
have no questions.
No questions either.
Very good. I don't have any questions
All
as
right.
well.
Thank you.
So we're going to close this section of the hearing and ask for any proponents. Is there anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of St. Mary's and the issuing of this license? We don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Is there anybody opposed? Is there anybody opposed to the issuing of a license for the country dinner dance at St. Mary's? We don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Discussion and/or a motion?
Any square dancing?
We'll have square dance teachers there.
Are they gonna be dressing up?
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah. Wear your best country boots and whatever else you got in the house, cowboy hat and all that
Okay,
good
boys,
stuff.
write the date down.
I got it. The date is June 17th.
Yes, sir.
Sounds like a great night, good luck.
Thank you.
Very good. You,
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I would second that motion.
very good. That motion is approved, and that license will be issued. The application for the one-day malt wine, common victular, and entertainment license to be issued to Blessed Mother of the Morning Star Parish at St. Mary's Church is approved. The license will be exercised at 670 Washington Avenue on Saturday, June 17, 2023, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. And this was for the country dinner dance for parishioners. The expected attendance is 90, and the entertainment to be provided by DJ. Thank you very much, Mr. Fernie.
Thank you, everyone.
Item number 7, St. Anthony of Padua Church, 250 Revere Street. Mary Ann Gregorio is the event manager. This is an application.
Giorgio.
I'm sorry?
Giorgio.
I'm sorry. This is an application for a one-day common victular entertainment and malt wine license. The application is to be exercised at the church at 250 Revere Street on Saturday, June 10th, 2023, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. And this is for the St. Anthony of Padua Feast Day celebration. The expected attendance is 150. Your name and address for the record, please.
Mary Ann Giorgio, 2 Philomena Ave.
Thank you very much, Ms. Giorgio. Can you explain briefly what the event is and what you want to do with these licenses?
Sure. So we're having the first time feast. It's on June 13th, but we're celebrating June 10th. We're going to have a barbecue, hot dogs, ribs, hamburgers, cheeseburgers, and beer and wine, if you approve. We expect, I said 150, but right now we only sold tickets for 42, so maybe 100 if we're lucky. And then we have Alan LaBella, who's the DJ. We'll be indoors, but they're gonna do the barbecue outside.
Nice.
Okay. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
Yes, well, I'm very familiar. First of all, I would like to say that I was prefect of the church, and in no way does this have anything to do with me. So I would like to be able to vote on this
Okay.
with no conflict. Yes, the feasts have always been great there. Of course, we had them outdoors for years. It was wonderful. I guess my first question is, you going to do any cooking?
No, they went on a barbecue this year, so they're doing a barbecue.
Of course, I know we've all heard of La Familia's in Boston.
So,
Well, here's one of the owners.
oh, wow.
She usually does the cooking.
I
I'm
usually do the
surprised.
cooking, but they wanted to do, first we were gonna do outside, but then with the weather and the elderly and the parking lot's a little, so then we figured we'll just barbecue outside, but we have a company from Taunton coming. They're gonna do the barbecue. And then they'll come in with the food, and
I'm
So
sure
we'll
it'll
be
a
inside.
great time, Mary Ann, and
I
I'm
hope
glad
so.
to see all the churches having these functions.
Yeah.
And getting families together, and I think it's great for the city. So I have no other questions, but I'm sorry you're not cooking.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions, Commissioner Alcina?
I don't.
Very good. We're going to close this part of the hearing. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And we will open it up to any proponents, if anybody that would like to speak on behalf of the St. Anthony's Feast on June 13th. We don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Anybody opposed? Is there anybody opposed to the issuing of this license? Don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. I'll entertain further discussion and/or motion.
I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'd second that motion.
Very good. The application for St. Anthony's of Padua Church for a one-day common victular entertainment malt wine license is approved. That license will be exercised at the church on Sunday, June 10th, 2023, from 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. And this is the parish's St. Anthony of Padua Feast Day celebration. The expected attendance is 150. Thank you very much, and that license is approved. Item number 8, 7-Eleven Inc., DBA 7-Eleven 37520H at 140 Beach Street. This is an application for a transfer of a common victuals license. And that license will be transferred from Gabe Assad, and it's going to be transferred to 7-Eleven Corporation. Is there a manager that's going to be responsible for that license?
I think the corporate is going to be responsible for the license.
I'm sorry?
The corporate is going to be responsible for the license.
The corporation is going to be. Is there a name to the corporation besides 7-Eleven? Is there a person?
Yeah, Suresh Bohra, the 140 Beach Street. I'm the manager.
This gentleman's the manager?
Yeah.
You're going to be the manager?
Yes.
Okay.
Just says
And your name, sir?
Suresh Bohra,
I'm sorry, how do you spell that?
Suresh.
Okay, Mr. Suresh, thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Sorry for the confusion. Can you explain briefly what you'd like to do with this common victuals license? What,
So we like to sell like food, pizzas, wings, and some fountain drinks, Slurpees, coffees.
very good. Are you currently open?
Yeah, we're open, but we're not selling those foods. So
Are you selling stuff now?
we're selling some stuff, but not food, coffees.
All
we're
right.
selling.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't have any further questions. Do you have any questions, Commissioner?
I don't.
Do you have any
We'll to
questions?
get- Well, we will have to get the information of who the manager is, so when we sign,
Well, we did. He's the manager. This is Mr. Suresh.
is that the right one now? Okay, I didn't get that.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
so we do have the name.
Yes.
Okay. No, I have no questions.
Very good. So, we're going to close this section of the hearing. Thank you, sir. And we're going to open it up to any proponents. Anybody else like to speak on behalf of the 7-Eleven at 140 Beach Street? I don't see or hear anybody. Okay,
So
so,
that'll be contingent.
yes, so, Mr. Suresh, we are going to, if this license get approved, you're gonna have to get a final inspection from the health department before the license is issued. Okay, so we can vote on it today, but until you get the final approval from the health department, the license will not be issued. Do you understand what I'm telling you? Okay, very good. Thank you, sir. So you had made a motion to approve.
I'll second the motion.
Very good. The application for the transfer of common victuals license of 7-Eleven Inc., DBA 7-Eleven-37520H, with Mr. Suresh as the manager, is approved. Thank you very much. And call and schedule those health inspections.
They have, the preliminary have been signed.
Okay.
Haven't got the final.
And then, once that's approved, you're good to go. Thank you very much, sir. Item number 9. Shuban Inc., DBA Parkway Convenience, 190A Revere Beach Parkway. Nilamban Patel is the manager. This is an application for a change of offices, directors, transfer of stock, pledge of license and inventory, change of manager, and alteration of premises. These applications will be exercised at the Parkway Convenience at 190 Revere Beach Parkway, and it's for the alteration of premises for an all-alcohol package store license. This is a continuation from our April meeting. Name and address for the record, please, sir.
Good afternoon, John Morady and Democus Law Offices, 56 Central Avenue. And with me is Neelam Ben Patel, manager of record, 56 Moore Street, is that correct? 126 Moore Street in Revere. So to kind of go back to last meeting where I requested, this is a change of officers and directors. Neelam Ben will be the sole officer, president, treasurer, secretary, and the sole director. She'll be the sole stock owner. Her aunt, Avnika Ben, and her mother-in-law, Amita Ben, are gifting their stock in the corporation to her as they're retiring and enjoying the later stages of life. Neelam Ben will be the manager of record. She's tip certified and has experience in alcohol sales and knows what she's how to run a liquor store. The next two items are kind of tailored together. There's a pledge of inventory and license to Rockland Trust Company as a requested alteration of premises to expand at 190 Parkway to take over the location owned by Dominio Pizza and Subs. When we were with the board last time, we requested that the 30% floor space restriction be lifted. We are no longer requesting that. We are simply requesting that the alteration of premises be granted with that 30% restriction still in space, still in effect.
So you're gonna keep the 30% we originally, when the license was issued?
Correct.
30% would be groceries,
30% of the entire floor space will be groceries still.
and then 70% will be the alcohol.
Alcohol, correct.
I would like that. I gave my word on that years ago, and I'd like to see the groceries. And it's a convenient spot for the neighbors to pull in and pick up milk and bread. So thank you for approving that part of that license.
Okay.
Do you have any questions, Commissioner Rossini?
I don't. I do like to note for the record that I did receive correspondence from Acting Mayor at Large Pat Keefe, Councilor at Large Patrick Keefe, in support of their application.
Very good. I have no questions as well. It seems as if, the tip certification and the prior experience in dealing with the liquor store makes this transfer, relatively easy. We will close this section of the hearing. Are there any proponents or anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of the transfer of this application or this license? Don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Is there anybody opposed to the change of officers, directors, transfer of stock, pledge of license and inventory, and change of manager and alteration of premises? Anybody opposed? Don't see or hear anybody. We'll move to a motion and/or a discussion.
Well, I have no other questions. I mean, my question's been answered, that they would stay with the 30% groceries along with the expansion. Just one question. When do you think this is going to take place? When is Domino's closing?
It depends on with the ABCC in terms of getting the actual alteration approved and that they go through building permits and whatnot. So hopefully mid to late summer. But again, the ABCC does take 6 to 8 weeks to
Okay.
approve items right now.
And there was a question about the doorways there. I think there's 3 doors there. Is that going to be being remodeled, entrance, exit?
What's the door
There
situation?
was a problem.
Yes, we were going to alter the floor plan to keep one entrance and one exit.
So there would be 1 entrance and 1 exit? Okay.
Yes, we agreed to 1 entrance and 1 exit.
Okay, because there was, you know, several doors that people were just coming in and out, didn't really know where they were going. When they use upstairs, what entrance do they use to?
I believe the landlord has a separate entrance and exit. I'm not sure because I do not have access to it. I believe it's in the rear.
Oh, it's in the rear, okay.
Yes.
I was just wondering why there's so many doors in front. So they'll use the back door. Okay, just curious.
Thank you. Anybody like to make a motion on this?
I'd move to approve the application.
I'll second that motion. The application for Parkway Convenience, Shuban Inc., DBA Parkway Convenience, 190A Revere Beach Parkway, for a change of officers, directors, transfer of stock, pledge of license and inventory, change of manager, and alteration of premises is approved. Thank you very much.
Thank you, have a good night.
Item number 10, Revere Sublanes Corp., DBA Subway, 3 Everett Street, Unit 3D-2. Hardik Patel is the manager. This is an application for a transfer of a common victualer's license to be exercised at the same location. The license will be from AMBU LLC to Revere Sublions Corp. Is there someone here from Subway? Can you step up to the microphone, please, sir, and give us your name and address for the record?
My name is Narendra Kumar Barwalia. I live in 36 Tulip Circle, South Grafton.
Thank you very much, sir. I think we all know what Subway does. Can you tell us what you're going to do with your common victualer's license?
We'll run same restaurant.
Do you have any changes that you're going to make to Subway's operation there? Or?
No.
Very good. Any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
No, I have no questions.
No questions.
Okay, very good. Thank you, sir. We'll close this section of the hearing. Are there any proponents? Anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of Subway? We don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Any opponents? Anybody opposed to Subway's common victualer's license and the BMT? We don't see any or hear anybody. I like the BMT.
Me too.
We'll close that section of the hearing. Are there any motions or discussions that need to be had?
No, if there's no other questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
And I would second the motion.
Very good. Sir, your application to transfer the common victualer's license for Subway is approved. That transfer will be exercised at the same location, which is 3 Everett Street, Unit 3D-2. The seating to remain at 22. The hours of operation are Sunday through Saturday, 7 a.m. to 1 a.m. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank
Good
you.
luck. Item number 11, Tulum Taqueria, Inc., 425 Revere Beach Boulevard. De Belice de la Rosa is the manager. This is an application to transfer the common victualer's license. The transferred license will be from Colemen's Corporation to be exercised at the same location, which is 425 Revere Beach Boulevard. The requested seating is for 40, but we're gonna have to talk about that one. 15? Requested seating is 15.
Yes, sir.
The requested hours are to remain Sunday through Saturday, 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. Now, you currently have outdoor seating,
Yes, sir. Good afternoon, everybody.
and the outdoor seating is to close at midnight. Is that
Yes,
what
sir.
your understanding is as well?
Yes, sir.
So that's the license that you're applying for?
Yes, sir.
Just so we're clear. Very good. Can you tell us briefly what you'd like to do at Tulum Taqueria, Inc.?
Well, thank you for having me here. David is my wife. We are a family. We're trying to improve the community. We have lived in Revere for a while now, about 6 years. We have 2 children, and we came up with the idea of rebuilding a business that has been closed for a few months. And it's a great opportunity because we never noticed a lot of options when it comes to healthy food around the area. And unless you pay a lot of, expensive menus, whatnot, so we found out that Mexican food could be healthy or healthier, than other options, and also offer, cheaper rates and prices to the whole community. As we understand, there's a elderly community building next to us, and a few new buildings around us.
Very good. Do you plan on opening year-round, or you plan on opening just for the summer? Or?
Year-round.
Very good. Good luck with that. My fellow
Well,
commissioners
I
have
live in
any
that
questions?
area also. I'm very close to that area. How many tables do you have outside now?
Outside, 3 tables,
3 tables. And
if I'm correct, yeah.
the issue we had with that last year was, and I think that they did put some rope around the tables, because later on in the evening, people were just coming and sitting and
In those tables.
after hours, right, after hours, they were sitting there. And of course, you have that ice cream next door, which everybody loves. And actually, I think the owners had a problem with that themselves, because they were sitting there eating their ice creams and not buying stuff from the store. How are you gonna control that?
Amazing question. So, we are now in contact with the Massachusetts, I don't want to say the wrong. DCR.
Yes.
So they are the ones that control that part of the property. So when we went to this young lady's name, Maggie, amazing person, by the way. She directed us to DCR, and we're waiting on their response. We just got an email from them, and once they give us more information about whether if we actually allowed to use that part of the property this summer, which could change, right? Based upon the whole COVID situation, we would find out, if what options we have. Are we allowed to have those tables out there per DCR? So we have to wait until they let us know. If that's the case, what we would do is that what we were thinking about doing is obviously have a person outside running in and out and control the whole, and if we allow, see if we can put some kind of
A little barrier, I think they put plants last year, seemed to have worked well, And even for yourself, you don't want to be out there having to police the tables. So if you had a little border there, and most of the little businesses there, DCR does give them so much room on the sidewalk. I think you only have enough space for 3, from what I.
3.
3 with 4 tables,
Indeed.
4 seats, right?
I believe there's 3
It's
tables.
12.
What's that again?
I think there were 12 seating outside.
Seats outside, yeah, that's what I believe as well.
Okay.
We would take any measurements that we can to keep the community safe, and any recommendations we also would put in place as far as keeping it safe. And I do understand your concern when it comes down to after hours and people
After
sitting down on
hours.
those tables.
Right, with the chairs, well, you can leave the well, I guess not, but the chairs being left out seemed to have been a problem with DCR. As far as what DCR allows, we don't really have any jurisdiction over that. They tell you how much of a sidewalk
Right.
that you can use, but that was my only concern, is that after hours or when you're closed, that people aren't just sitting there, or they get their food from Kelly's at night and come down there, because as you said, you're right next door to the elderly
Indeed.
building, you know.
And
So that's my only concern. Other than that, I wish you luck.
thank you so much.
I have nothing to add.
Very good. I don't wanna add anything. I've had a business on the beach, a restaurant on the beach, a fast food place.
Yeah.
Good luck with that,
Oh, thank you.
all right?
Well, we all in.
It was good. Bob kebabs.
That's right. The healthy fast food.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will close this section of the hearing. Are there any proponents, anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of Tulum Taqueria, Inc.? I don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Is there anybody opposed? Anybody opposed to the issuing of this license? I don't see or hear anybody. We will close that section. I will entertain motions and/or further discussion if you think it's warranted.
Yeah,
No?
I was gonna move to approve, but okay.
Well, I was gonna make a motion to approve, but 6 AM to 2 AM, but outdoor seating would be I'm not too sure what we've allowed with the other restaurants. Because, okay, so we did allow the 12 o'clock closing.
Yes.
So I would make a motion to approve Sunday through Saturday, 6 AM to 2 AM, outdoor seating till midnight.
Thank you.
I'll second that motion.
Very good. That motion is approved, but I would just make you aware that before the license will issue, there is a final inspection that's necessary
Indeed.
from the health department. So you need to contact them, schedule another inspection, get it signed off. Once you get it signed off, that license will issue.
Awesome.
Very good.
Perfect.
Thank you very much,
Thank
sir.
you.
Best
Thank
luck.
you, Commissioner.
Good luck.
Thanks. God bless.
Tulum Taqueria, Inc., the application to transfer the common victuals license is approved. The application will be exercised at 425 Revere Beach Boulevard. The transfer of the license will be from Coleman's Corporation. The license will be exercised from Sunday through Saturday, 6 AM to 2 AM. Outdoor seating to close at midnight. Requested seating is 15. Thank you, sir. Good luck. Item number 12, Beachmont VFW Post 6712, Inc., 150 Bennington Street. Frank Matt is the manager. This is an application for a change of officers and directors. The application for a change of officers and directors of an all-alcohol Veterans Club license. Is there someone here from Beachmont VFW? I don't see or hear anybody. We will table this. Item number 13, 99 West LLC, DBA 99 Restaurant and Pub, 121 VFW Parkway. Alan Kerr is the manager. This is an application for a change of officers, directors. The application of 99 West LLC, DBA 99 Restaurant and Pub, for the change of directors of an all-alcohol restaurant license. This is an inverted application. It's been approved by the Alcohol Beverage Control Commission. Your name and address for the record, please.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Pisano from Upton, Connell, and Devlin on behalf of the 99, 112 Water Street, Boston, Massachusetts.
Very good. Thank you very much. Can you explain briefly what you're looking to do with this application and explain about the application change of officers and directors?
Sure. So there are 6 LLC managers who are leaving the company, and 4 of them, and then 6 people are being added to the company. So it's just a change of officers. There's no change in the ownership structure. The manager of record is remaining the same. No changes to the restaurant. It's just a corporate change.
Okay, very good. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions?
I have no questions. I've gone over the paperwork and everything seems to be in order, so I have no questions.
Same, I have no questions.
Very good. I have none as well. We'll close this section of the hearing. Are there any proponents? Is anybody that would like to speak on behalf of 99 West LLC and their application for a change of officers directors? Don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Anybody opposed? Anybody opposed to the change of officers and directors? Don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Do we need further discussion and/or a motion?
I have no questions. If there's no other questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
Second that motion.
Very good. The application for 99 West LLC, DBA 99 Restaurant and Pub, 121 VFW Parkway, for an application for a change of officers and directors is approved. This is a change for an all-alcohol restaurant license. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Good luck.
it. Item number 14. Mehran Islam, DBA 711, number 34393, 127 Broadway. Shahidul Islam is the manager. This is an application for a malt wine package store license. This application is a license for an existing business to be exercised at the same location, that is 127 Broadway. Your name and address for the record, please, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Shahidul Islam. I'm the manager and the husband of Mehrun Islam of 711, store number 34393, 127 Broadway, Revere, and I live in 130 Vane Street, Revere.
Very good, sir. Can you explain briefly what it is you'd like to do with this license?
I am here to get the approval to sell beer and wine in addition to the items we are currently selling.
Okay, thank you very much. Now, have you been in the beer and wine selling business in the past?
Yes, sir.
And where was that?
It was in East Boston.
The name of the location?
Yeah, that time the store used to be called White Hen Pantry. If you guys remember, the 7-Eleven we have now on Broadway, it used to be White Hen Pantry.
Yes. So you ran a White Hen Pantry in East Boston?
East Boston.
And that White Hen Pantry sold beer and wine?
Beer and wine.
Very good. And is that your only experience with beer and wine sales?
Yeah, I ran that for 10 years.
Very good. Do my fellow commissioners have any questions?
How long have you been at this location?
Since 2007, so I'm here for
2007.
14.
No, I have no questions.
Same, I have no questions.
Very good. I have one other question. Have you taken any tip certification courses or any kind of courses in alcohol sales?
Yeah, back in 1999, I took some courses. Now I have to, technology and everything changed, so I'm going to take some courses so that I can train my employees. So I'm going to refresh myself and then train my employees.
Very good.
I should be tip certified.
I'm sorry?
It's going to become tip certified?
Yes, that's what he said.
Yeah.
Very good. Any other questions?
No, but I would move to approve.
Okay, well.
Or we have to go through other sections?
Yes, we have to.
No questions.
We're going to close this section of the hearing, and we're going to open it up to proponents. Is anybody else that would like to speak on behalf of the 7-Eleven at 127 Broadway and their application for a beer and wine license? We don't see anybody. We'll close that section. Is there anybody opposed? Anybody opposed to the issuing of this license? We don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Discussion and/or a motion.
I'd move to approve.
I'll second the motion.
Very good. The motion to approve the application for the 7-Eleven and the application for a malt wine package store license is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Commissioners.
The
Thank you.
application will be exercised at 127 Broadway, and that's a license for an existing business. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you for your
Have a
time.
good day. Good luck
and
with that.
consideration. Thank you.
Item number 15, Mass Trips, Inc., DBA Esquite Taqueria, 1148 North Shore Road. Ana Paula Guerrero is the manager. This is an application for a malt wine restaurant license. The application of Esquite Taqueria, 1148 North Shore Road, for a license to be exercised at that location. The hours are Monday through Thursday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., Friday and Saturday, 11 a.m. to 1:30 a.m., and the seating is for 18. Your name and address for the record, please, sir.
My name is Emiliano Moreno. I am the representative of Master Inc., and my address is 660 Ocean Avenue.
Very good, thank you very much. Can you?
Oh, I turned it off. Okay. Yeah, my name is Emiliano Moreno. I am the representative of Master Inc. I'm also here to represent my manager, Ana Paula Guerrero. My address is 660 Ocean Avenue.
Very good, thank you very much, sir. Can you tell us what you'd like to do with this malt wine and restaurant license?
Yes, I would like this license mainly because my customers have been asking this for the beginning. At first, I believed I did not want any alcohol in my business, but I really need those extra sales, especially with all the staff and investments I have done. I have decided that it would be very beneficial for my customers and for my restaurant. Also, my plans with this license is just to do simple beer and bottled wine. We're not going to do like a full bar or any full bartending. We're just going to keep it very simple, but any alcohol in there with the tacos would be very beneficial.
And now, this is for the location. Now, you've got 3 locations in the city, correct?
Correct. This would be just for Esquite Taqueria.
And that's the one where the old Reds used to be? Is that what we're talking about?
I believe so. I think the previous iteration was Larry's Barbecue Cafe.
Oh, okay, yes,
Yeah.
and that was Reds
Yeah,
prior
that
to
used to have a license, I believe. But
So it's not the one on Shirley Avenue at the
No.
corner, and it's not the pizza place?
yeah, it's not neither of those. Those are more focused on takeout. This was leaning towards that, but now we're actually doing a little bit more restaurant experience. Again, my restaurants really don't lean too much into that, but I do believe this would be very beneficial for people coming down to sit down, and they want to have a cold drink.
Very good. I'm enjoying the pizza place, by the way.
Oh, thank you very
Doing
much,
a
sir.
nice job with that.
Appreciate it.
I'm hearing very good things about the restaurant. I haven't been there, but I'm hearing very good things about the
Thank you.
restaurant.
Thank
So
you very much.
I say every weekend I have to go in there and try it, but hopefully you do well there in that location. I see you have some food trucks there.
Yeah, thank you. Yes, the food truck is just, we use the parking lot for parking. We don't have like the cart selling in the Esquite Taqueria location, but we do use it for parking. So, oh yeah, but over here in City Hall, of course, that's another story. By the way, just like to say that we don't do our hours until 1:30. I'm not sure if that's a big deal, but we're not doing late night hours, just to inform anyone. We're still doing closing up to 10.
Now, in looking at the application, do you have any questions? I'm sorry.
I don't.
I am looking for previous experience serving alcohol.
I may be the company president, but I'm not going to be in charge of that. My father is one of my managers, and he has 10 years of experience bartending. Of course, we're not going to do the full bartending, but he does have a lot of experience with alcohol. And,
Okay. Will the people in the restaurant will you be getting them tip certified? Will you be educating them on alcohol service?
Yeah, he'll definitely make sure they're trained appropriately. Yeah, he's basically gonna go do the whole training as much as needed. Of course, it's not gonna be like full bartending, but he definitely needs to make sure they're up to date with all the legal stuff, especially too.
Okay. And I see you've provided a floor plan. And you're going to be dispensing the beer and wine from behind the counter? Is that how that is?
Oh, yes, everything's gonna come behind the counter. We just have a fridge on the front where, we store soda. We're just gonna store the bottles, because everything's gonna be bottles, so everything's gonna be in there. And extra storage would just be in the walk-in cooler in the back.
Okay. I have no further questions.
I have no questions.
All right. Very good. We'll close this section. Are there any proponents? Anybody else like to speak on behalf of the issuing of this, this application for a malt wine restaurant license? We don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Is there anybody opposed? Anybody opposed to the issuing of this license? We don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Motion and/or a further discussion.
I'd move to approve. I'll second the motion.
The application for the Esquite Taqueria Malt Wine Restaurant License is approved. That application will be exercised at the existing restaurant at 1148 North Shore Road. The hours are Monday through Thursday, 11 A to 11 P. Friday, Saturday, 11 A to 1:30 A. The seating is at 18. Thank you very much, sir. Good luck with that. Okay. The next item on the agenda is item number 16. Excuse me, sir, are you, for? Item number 2, I got like 5 minutes late. Oh, okay, all right. Let's, if you don't mind, we'll take care of this, and then we can move on to your hearing. Thank you very much. All right, sir, why don't you step up to the microphone? This is item number 2, FLA USA, Harry Delarusso Stadium. Manuel Mizael is.
You can call me Manny.
Manny, thank you. I'm sorry if I mispronounced your last name.
That's all right.
Is the event manager. This is an application for a one-day malt wine license to be exercised at Harry Delarusso Stadium on Sunday, May 28th, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. The event is a mini tournament of soccer featuring retired professional soccer players. The expected attendance is 200. All right, sir, can you just, your name and address for the record?
My name is Manuel Maria Mizael. I live at 15 Ellis Avenue, apartment 2.
Thank you very much. And can you explain briefly
Sure.
what you'd like to do with this?
We are a fan club of a soccer team from Brazil. In order to be representing this team, we have some, they give us some requirements. One of them is to do some charity and do some events with child. Like, we send money to Brazil to helpfully take these kids out of drug, out of the criminal life, and to get them more interested to sport. And we do this here too. So every year with the intervention of the club, we bring soccer players here to attend a little tournament with children. So we have like 5 or 6, sometimes 8 little teams with one soccer player and the kids and sometimes parents. And we do a little tournament, people come, they bring their own food, and we've been doing this for 6 years. Last year was the first year ever that we are lucky enough to get a liquor license, and we sold some beers and wine at the stadium, and we could raise some more money for our cause. And luckily, the mayor last year waived the stadium fee. I don't think it's happening this year, but it is what it is. So yeah, we're hoping to get this license again so we can raise a little more money during the event. We got way too hopeful last year, and we applied for 400 people, but only 100 and something attended. But since the state is a huge place, it was very easy to control the crowd, especially because we had people at the gates. And I myself, when I was serving alcohol with one of my servers, I manage a restaurant in Walpole. I've been a restaurant manager for 20-something years. I have training in TIPS, in choke service, serve safe, you name it. So this is going to be very, very well-organized event in that manner. Last year, we actually didn't have police detail. It was not enough. It was not necessary. I was told that we're gonna need it this year again, but if that's the case, we're gonna pay for that too.
Are you gonna be selling tickets?
For this event, no. We're not gonna be selling tickets. We will sell tickets though for one bigger event, which is like our anniversary party, we'll call. But this is gonna be in Malden in another venue. It's something else, because that's the place where the players are gonna be signing jerseys and meeting with the fans, and they're gonna be taking pictures. That's something else, not organized by us.
Very good. Is this a fundraiser?
It's not a fundraiser, no. It is, we do this to raise money because even though the club help us, we are responsible to pay for the flying fare for the players. We have to house them, I mean, Airbnb or hotel. We also have to transport them around, so we rent vans with this money.
Very good.
Yeah. And we are a non-profitable organization too.
Okay.
So,
And that's FLA USA?
yeah, it's the name of the club is Flamengo.
Okay.
We call Fly USA.
Okay.
Which is we represent the club here in the United States, in this region.
Very good. Do you have any questions?
I don't.
I have no questions.
Very good. We'll close this section of the hearing. Is there any proponents? Anybody
very
else
much.
like to speak on behalf of the issuing of the one-day malt wine license to Fly USA? We don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Anybody opposed? Anybody opposed to the issuing of this license? We don't see or hear anybody. We'll close that section. Do you want to make a motion, or would you like to discuss it further?
No, I have no other questions. I've gone over the paperwork. It looks great. Should be a good time. So if there's no questions, I'll make a motion to approve.
And I'd second that motion.
Very good. The application for the one-day malt wine license for Fly USA for a one-day license to be exercised at Harry Delarusso Stadium on Sunday, May 28, 2023, from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. is approved. Thank you very much, sir. Appreciate it.
And good luck.
Okay, we're going to return to the agenda. We're going to go to the hearings. Item number 16, MHF Logan Operating V LLC, DBA Hampton Inn Revere, 230 Lee Burbank Highway. Wissam Suda is the manager. This is a hearing into multiple safety fire violations in violation of condition of the parking lot license. This is a continuation from the April hearing. I see the counselor is here. Before we get started, just so we're clear, if we could have the fire department come up and basically outline what it is that they feel is the issues that needs to be addressed, just so we're clear about where we're standing. If
Makes
that's-
perfect sense. Sure.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. Deputy Chief Paul Cheever, Rear Fire Department, 400 Broadway. I'm here on behalf of the Chief of the Department in regards to the ongoing issues that we continue to have at the Hampton Inn with Select Transportation operating their Park and Fly license. There's a series of history here at this property, back into 2019 with violations of parking in landscape areas, handicap spaces, fire lanes, walkways, blocking the entrance for emergency vehicles to get in, as well as anyone else who needs to do drop-off in the front. These continued several events in 2019 into the beginning of 2020, at which time the hotel was shuttered for a period of time due to COVID. Upon reopening in 2022, the violations continued. We have records of violations in February and March, at which time they were brought to the council, brought to the commission to discuss their violations. We were given promises at that time to have lot monitors, decrease the park and fly spaces, contract with a tow company, and hire a consultant to provide an emergency plan. We then received a letter from Attorney Cipolletta stating that a tow company was under contract to take care of the lot and police the lot to make sure that there are no violations. And also in that letter, it stated that there was a company that was hired to do a management plan. The records that we were then passed on a couple of months later were for the proposal for the management plan, but we never received a management plan. We also, back in 2022, discovered that Select was using St. Anthony's Church illegally as overflow and had, in essence, basically 50 vehicles parked behind St. Anthony's Church. Led the church to believe that it was acceptable to do such. Now in 2023, with our latest event, we ended up there was no monitors on, there was no parking lot monitors on site. We ended up having to deal directly with the hotel staff. And after speaking directly with the staff, we also understood that the hotel and Select Transportation were again illegally using the VFW Parkway on Bennington Street for overflow parking. The number of vehicles that were again, same type of violations: landscape areas, handicap parking spaces, fire lanes, walkways, block entrance. No tow company was on site. The staff was not aware of a tow contract to get these vehicles off. Same issue, we had calls from people who were staying at the hotel in terms of not feeling safe in regards to the number of vehicles on the lot. And just prior to that event, we were contacted by hotel management on February 17th. The event I'm referring to now occurred in March 6th. We were contacted on February 17th regarding being able to park additional cars in unmarked spaces in lanes away from the hotel. We told them that that is not part of their license and they cannot put vehicles in those spaces, in those open lanes as part of the parking lot. So clearly, they got a communication in February saying they can't do it, and then right away in the next month, they were doing it. At this point, we feel that we've been going back and forth since 2019 with the business, and it seems to us that they just haven't figured it out. They just haven't learned. So under the direction of the chief, you have a letter on file from him, as well as a follow-up email from me outlining what we believe is our position. And at this point, the chief feels it is best interest of the safety of the city that their parking fly license be revoked until further notice. So we're hoping that the commission will review these records and concur with our conclusion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deputy. Counselor, you've heard the position of the fire department. You're up.
Yes, sir, I did. Thank you, Mr. Chairman and honorable members of the Revere License Commission. We acknowledge the problems that occurred at the location, and for a number of years we've had interaction with the License Commission, the police department, the fire department, and the management and the ownership of the hotel has tried to make this work. Some of these things don't happen overnight. As a matter of fact, I've passed up a number of exhibits that will coincide with some of the things that I would like to say to the commission, and that Sam Suda, who has history here, general manager, being at the hotel. First and foremost, yes, as Deputy Cheever had indicated, some of the overflow had been shuttled off to the Beachmont VFW, not knowing that the Beachmont VFW, although they have a large parking lot and most of it is unfilled at most of the day and most of the night, nobody was aware that they needed an extension of that license, or that Beachmont VFW required a license to have the cars there. When it was pointed out to them, they were removed. I'm not sure, and maybe Sam can address that, whether or not those were transported over there as overflow by the other vendor, Select, or whether it was actually the hotel itself. I have gotten some of the explanations, and I think that there's sort of a running chronology and a matrix that was put together by the management company and the ownership that with regard to the Beachmont VFW, they noticed an error in the bookings. They tried to find a solution. They had too many cars in their lot. They called neighbor around at places, and they found that Beachmont VFW was willing to take them on to alleviate some of the stress that was causing a potentially dangerous situation at the hotel. And they offloaded the cars to Beachmont VFW, but they were removed on 11 March at around 11:02. Some of the Park Sleep and Fly bookings were done. As you can see, it seems to be a pattern, and not maybe so much a pattern as it is a temporal coincidence maybe, is that these things tend to happen during the most highly traveled periods of time. And if you look at, it's February vacation, March, spring break. And a number of these hotels that are closer to the airport that have parking and accommodate guests overnight allow their guests to park there if they're staying at the hotel, go on vacation, come back. They take care of the cars. That's the hotel's protocol, and that's what they do. And I mean, they have been trying to deal with this for a number of years because those are the types of time periods where all of these situations tend to happen. It doesn't only happen here. There are some of these in East Boston too, and I mean, we're very close to the airport. Most people don't want to pay and can't pay Boston rates, and the ownership has done a number of different things in response to receiving not only last year's but also this year's notices from the commission. We did, and when I last appeared before the commission, and I think it was probably 2021, it may have been last year, I'm not quite sure, but, and we did tell the commission that there was a contract with a tow company. There actually is a contract with a tow company, and it's Tedisco. And maybe that didn't work out, and maybe that needs to be solidified, or maybe it needs to be changed and another vendor be taken on board. What have they done since that 2021, 2022, or 2022, I guess, hearing that the commission had summoned the ownership to? They've spent quite a bit of money. They did talk about installing parking gates. They have a contract with a company, TBI. TBI is they do two things. They do the expert analysis because they're parking and transportation company consultants, and they also direct people as to what kind of a mitigation might be put in place. One of the things that was suggested by them and has been purchased, it's under contract, and they've paid $58,000 as a down payment to it, and it looked like it's going to be, on that contract alone, $124,000 so that they can install the gates. As part of that, the commissioners may be aware of some of the newer type gate mechanisms that are operated electronically, where the gate will sense, you set the gate as to a certain number, where when that number is reached, it won't open. It's cut off. And it's done electronically, it's controlled by a computer. And if, for instance, just use arbitrary numbers, it's set at 100. So we can't bring more than 100 cars on site, because we know if we bring 101, one of those cars is not going to have as assigned space, for which the operator pays $200 per space for 375 spaces per year. That it's not going to let them in, because somebody's going to find someplace else to park. They're either going to park in the landscaped area, they're going to park in the fire lane, or in some other restricted area that the hotel doesn't want them to park in, and obviously the city doesn't want them to park in. That is in the process of being assembled so that it'll be delivered and installed. Altogether, since 2022, when we were last before, at least I was last before the commission, and made this recitation to the commission and the promise to the city that the operator would do its best, they have committed to now what is a total of $323,000 as of contract executions as of 8 November 2022. And again, these things don't happen overnight. There are, and I passed these documents, the contracts, the service agreements, and so forth, up to the commission. I believe Deputy might have a copy of them as well. And those documents tell a story better than I can relate it, because it also has some pictorial representations, and it shows just exactly what happens, and how the gates work, and so on and so forth. The other thing that I think is worthy of mentioning, I'm going to keep the best one for last, but then the next to last one is that the hotel staff has been patrolling the parking lot, and they have a spreadsheet, and there's a spreadsheet in the form of an Excel document that I passed up to the commission that was provided to me from the home office in Rhode Island. And they did actually catch somebody who was parked in a space where they shouldn't have been parked, although there were spaces that were empty that were numbered or available for parking. They approached the car. The gentleman was asleep in his car, parked in a fire lane. They got rid of him. They also have a service contract with another company that takes care of overflow. There is a contract with a storage facility that is outside the city of Revere, so we don't have to worry about going over to the VFW, St. Anthony's, Northgate, or any of those places. It's a facility that has plenty of parking storage, and also handles Logan Airport and some of the Massport employees and the airlines. They get $15 a car if somebody shows up and the gates, you can't get in. They take the car, they offload it, they bring it out of Revere. So we're not involving any of the other Revere properties or property owners or potential licensees or businesses that may be subject to the jurisdiction of the License Commission, the City Council, Police Department, or any other judicial or law enforcement type entity. So, not to say it's a better thing to bring your problem somewhere else, but it's not here. The commission was good enough to grant my request for a continuance because I was brought on board very close to the date of the hearing that was set up for last month, the April meeting, because I had some trial commitments and so forth. And it was on the condition that if anything happened between that meeting and this meeting, where the fire department, police department, ISD, or anyone else found any sort of a violation or something that looked to be out of place at the location, that the license would be yanked and nothing would happen. They would not be able to park any cars there or operate under any licenses or allowances issued by the city of Revere until such time as this board, this commission had the opportunity to make a full review of that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very happy to say that even though we've had the two most heavily traveled weeks, the Massachusetts school vacation week in 1 week, and then the New Hampshire one was the following week, zero complaint. I haven't heard of any. Maybe Deputy Cheevers has one, and if he does, I didn't see it. And I don't think we got any we have not gotten any advice that of any violations, and I'm sure that the city of Revere and its enforcement arm has probably had this particular facility under a microscope during the last 30 days, and when Maggie says, "Our eyes are on you," I believe her, and I think they were. So it shows that they're able to do it, they're capable of putting into their facility a large investment, and as you may recall, a couple of years ago, before COVID, and maybe a year or two before that, I stood before this commission with some of the owners of the hotel, and we asked for permission to reestablish or realign and amend the interior of the hotel, where we're moving the restaurant, and we're combining some rooms and so on and so forth to upgrade and make the hotel a better place. I think it has turned out to be a better place. I think it speaks to the commitment, not only to the community, but also to a commitment of money to make sure that the lives and safety and welfare of not only the guests, but the city of Revere and its citizens are protected. And I'm not for a minute saying that throwing money at a problem makes it any different than saying, well, we can turn the other way and not look at some of these violations and let them slide because we're spending money. $353,000 or $3,500,000 is not worth the life of one firefighter, one police officer, or one first responder, or one guest. And they fully realize that. That's why they've made the commitment. And I think it's probably within the confines of the boundaries of the city of Revere, it's the closest establishment to Logan Airport. There's 2 or 3 up the road as you're moving south. That's in the city of Boston. Not that money should sway, the decision on a public safety issue, but just to point out how much the city, this hotel has been a benefit to the city, so that it can put money towards not only tax money, but some of the room fees that the city gets, and the $200 a space that they get allows the city of Revere to put that money into into the general fund, I suppose is where it goes, and then it gets divvied out to public safety and education and elsewhere. So this is a rather large, not only taxpayer, but also generator of revenue stream on a monthly or a quarterly basis, however they make their payments to the city. Sam, he's boots on the ground over there, and you're well familiar with him. I know you look at me and you say, well, he's trying to make a good case and maybe and sometimes put lipstick on a pig. That's not the case here. But I think if you have questions about the operation and the timelines, Sam would be the guy to give you those and give it to you in real time in a unbiased and maybe without trying to inflate the ability to do it or the timeline in which it will be done. So, Mr. Chairman, if with the Commission's permission, may Sam address the License Commission, and also I would put him forward as the person to answer questions relative to the operation.
Sure.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you very much,
Thank you.
Counselor.
Good afternoon. First, I want to address the February 17th, inquiring about the parking behind. To be quite honest, I came to Miss Maggie and I asked her, because it was an inquiry that came to me if they're allowed to stage cars for early departures. And at that time, I was advised to reach out to Lieutenant Larry. Again, this is counterproductive, because my goal was to avoid being here, and therefore I went and inquired to make sure that in case it's illegal, let's not do it, okay? So then I was trying to kind of cover all aspects, and then 2 weeks later, of course, as the counselor just mentioned, everything got overbooked. We found ourselves with 40 cars over. Certainly no excuse. I happened to be in Jersey visiting family, so there was that weekend. And then when I came back, of course, Lieutenant Larry came in that Monday. And then, of course, we we kind of looked at the cars, and then she gave me within an hour to move all the cars. And I hope she has communicated, but within an hour, one of her colleagues that was with her came and literally combed the parking lot to ensure there was no cars, and he saw the tow truck towing cars. Now, since then, we've contracted with a third-party vendor, and they've relocated vehicles for us during these high peak periods that the council just mentioned in April. And this is the reason why we didn't run into this obstacle that we ran into in February and then again in 2022. This is quite embarrassing as a leader and as an operator to be stand in front of you and tell you again, I'm trying to work on it. I'm certainly trying to work on it. I'm doing my best. And there's certain things, and to be with all due respect, there's certain things are controllables, and certainly there's uncontrollables, like someone sleeping in the car, you know, in a fire lane because they decide they want to park next to two vehicles. They figure they isolate themselves away from other vehicles and sleep. Certainly that's beyond my control, but certainly when we find it, we address it now. The point of the gates is to clear, so the gates are to isolate two separate, to the select side and hotel side. And then there will be a gate that distinguishes the two. So they can't have overflow. So they'll have one section of our parking lot, and we'll have another section of the parking lot. And the gates are going to be programmed where, hypothetically speaking, my side of the parking lot only allows 216 spots. So once 216 cars enter, the gate will not open. The only time it will open, if 215, one leaves, it will open up. So now we have this in place where, God forbid, which will probably happen, right? 216 cars already came in, and there's 10 cars coming, 10 guests coming in. This is where we have the third-party vendor, where they come, we take their keys, we tag them, they take the cars, and they take them off-site. I believe there's in East Boston, they have a satellite parking lot in East Boston and Chelsea, so they have two locations. I'm not quite sure which ones they use for our hotel. And that's really our plan here, commissioners. And hopefully, you know, I'm hoping that this is all behind us, honestly. And you know, we actually have a meeting tomorrow at 8 o'clock a.m. with the parking vendor, because our first installation hopefully is going to start on the 15th. The project's going to commence on the 15th, hopefully, if all goes well, next Monday with the parking gates. Certainly there's going to be legwork to be done before we installation the gates, which is the infrastructure, running electricity and all that good stuff, striping and restriping the parking lot and all that before we install it.
So, just so I'm clear, your plan here is to compartmentalize the parking lot.
Yes, sir.
And have one section of the parking lot for hotel guests.
Correct, yes, sir.
And have the other section for the select park and fly.
Yes, sir.
And the gates are going to be set up such that there's not going to be allowed any more cars than there are spaces.
Correct, and this is the reason why, initially, this is the reason why I came and asked Ms. Maggie and then emailed Lieutenant Larry in the same regards, because the select portion, he asked if we could extend or increase the number of spots to, hypothetically, he has 154, he wants us to increase it to 164, so the gate opens up to 164, so he's able to stage 10 cars. Before we say yay or nay, I wanted to cover my tracks, and clearly, you know, now here I am here today, but I came and inquired, make sure that we're all aligned, and we weren't, and then I notified them the same, that we're not gonna do that. But as we all know, that's happened, so, but hopefully it's not gonna happen again.
Do any of my fellow commissioners have any questions for Mr. Suda?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. By all means.
Deputy, you've heard the plan. What do you think about the plan to compartmentalize and utilize gates to ensure that we don't have any overflow?
So on a higher level, why is there two parking lots running here? If they have overflow, clearly there's issues. So Select has overflow. Why are there two? Why is Select here? So that's on a higher level. First of all, we just got this. I just got this literally handed to me, so I can't comment on it. It had a month to get it to me, so I can review it and maybe have some information. If I'm looking at the dotted line that's on this drawing right now as the fence and the gates, No, you're gonna block access to the whole side and the back of the building? We gotta open gates to get around the building? No, that can't happen. You're gonna restrict access. You know, just a couple other quick comments. I made some quick notes. Hopefully I can find them now because I scribble all over the place, but, you know, he's talking about, you know, the investment of $300,000. That was supposed to already happen. That was supposed to happen in 2022. We never received that. The only documents we got were a proposal, and that was passed over like it was the design. We're now seeing this today because they're jammed up again. I have a problem with that. You know, there was a comment that you're trying and trying. I don't really understand what that means. Excuse me. And you made, you know, so the other thing that concerns me greatly is so we had the issue with St. Anthony's. So clearly Select and the hotel were educated that they can't do overflow vehicles into other properties that don't have park and fly license. So we already had that issue in 2022. Here we are in 2023, and someone's reaching out to VFW, and we say, oh, the VFW didn't know. Of course the VFW didn't know. They're not the one reaching out. Who's reaching out to the VFW saying, can we park there? So there's someone's misleading. I don't know if it's the hotel that's reaching over or it's Select that's reaching over. So somebody's cheating. As you know, there's a clear history with the other park and fly operator here, with NECO, with Comfort Inn. So I don't feel it's genuine, what's being put forth. So what else we got? Sorry.
Well, you'd admit, though, that the problems that were with NECO and other Comfort Inn, that was a Select situation. And so if there's a common thread to all of this, it's Select, and not necessarily this gentleman in Hampton.
I wouldn't disagree.
You would or would not?
Would not disagree.
As far as this proposal goes,
And just if I could address.
Sure.
No, by all means. So the gates are programmed that with siren, that the gates will open up automatically. So that all the gates are programmed with the fire siren, police siren, they automatically engage and they will open up the gates. So there's two options. It's the siren, or there's also, I think he said, or there's certain button that we give them, or I don't know how that works, but
yeah,
it's a siren that opens up automatically for all the gates, not only just the one in the back.
okay,
So
thank you.
there's, if I may, sorry.
Yes, I will.
No.
Next time, thank you.
So the way I hear this is, you know, this was supposed to be already addressed in 2022. It didn't happen. We're back here now. You have a letter from the chief revoking his signature from the license based on Mass General Law 148. You know, and it does say until further notice. So maybe it's not a revoke, maybe it's a several months suspension until they come forward and figure out exactly how they're gonna run this and run this safe. You know, to say that, you know, gates to control vehicles, we've got records of people, we're actually, in the event in a couple of months ago, the deputy was in the lobby speaking with the hotel staff while someone was screaming and yelling at the hotel staff because they booked the room and was leaving the car there, and they told him they couldn't leave the car there. And they told him, sorry, you gotta go find some other place to go with your vehicle. So gates are gonna control the cars? There's no software out there that they can purchase that controls bookings to make sure that we don't get to the place where we have to chase cars away into overflow parking lots? To me, I think there needs to be a better look at this other than gates for control.
I don't disagree. However, I mean, the issue is the parking and where the vehicles are going. And so if there is a plan that looks like it would address the parking and address the safety issue, I think we should look at it. And I mean, I don't know about remedial action, like, you want to suspend them for a period of time. But I'm just saying, as a plan, is this something, and I understand you just got it, and you got it just before we got it. All right, so I haven't, to be honest, I haven't read through the stack either. I'm just looking at the top page. It's got the diagram of the lot. and it's got the various gates and how they intend to section off the lot. And if that would alleviate the emergency access, and that would facilitate your folks getting in there safely and doing whatever jobs they need to do, then, you know, I'd like to look at it at least and see where we can tweak it or make it work, or, I mean, he brings up a valid point. I mean, the hotel has been here for a while. They have tried to do what they can do. There is a third party here, which we all agree may not be operating on the same page. So if we could kind of parse that out a little bit, maybe that's something to work on. I don't know. I'm kind of spitballing here, but I'm.
When did you guys come up with this plan?
I'm sorry, sir?
When did you come up with this plan?
Well, this is a plan they've been working on for months. So there's a parking consultant that they've been going back and forth in terms of layout. Well, and I'll tell you, Commissioner, I don't know if you probably know my property, but there's only one entrance and an exit. That's gonna, there was talk of maybe do we make an entrance and exit, and then the entrance exit for each side of the parking lot. So there was a lot of going back and forth between the logistics.
Does September 6, 2022 sound familiar to you? That this plan, this plan was drawn up for you in September of 2022.
22, correct.
It's May
Yeah,
of 2023.
yes, sir.
I mean, and here we are still discussing the plan. When is it gonna happen?
Well, the plan is happening. We just made, like I said, we just made a down payment on, and I have it here, of $58,272, and that was made on the second, on the 6th of February. So it's happening, Commissioner. And like I mentioned, on the 15th, as of Monday, hopefully that's the scope of work is gonna begin on the 15th, Commissioner. So,
This place
yes,
is-
I get that it's taking quite a bit, but certainly it's not a delay from our end. There's product delay, there's a lot of logistics behind this. And again, I'm not giving excuses. I'm only giving you what I know, Commissioner. I
It's
run
your
a-
explanation,
No,
right?
no, I
It's
get it,
just
but
enough, right?
I run a hotel. I'm not the guy upstairs that makes the decisions when these plans get executed. I'm here just to present it. I'm here to do my best to make sure that we stay in line. And I know that whole "I try" is rubbing you the wrong way, Commissioner.
Here's the issue, right?
Yeah,
I remember you and your council vividly.
Last year.
Exactly. Around the same time, and similar issue was presented by the city. And here we are a year later, still discussing the same thing. And now we have a proposal on the table to temporarily suspend because essentially, despite the trying and the efforts and the planning, here we are.
I get
with
it.
the same problem.
I get it, but can I ask, but from my defense, since last year until this year, within a 1 year calendar, we had one episode, and that was February. And I listen, not a day or an hour, it shouldn't have happened.
I'm not sure if that's accurate. Is that accurate? One episode? That's not accurate.
That's all I'm aware of. I'm
That's
aware
not-
of
that's
the
not
February
accurate.
episodes.
I have pictures, multiple pictures from several months of this year alone with several violations.
I don't have record of those violations or pictures.
We have them, you know, so, I mean, this hearing has gone on quite some time, so I mean.
Well,
March.
it is the fence. I
March.
think they all are in the state, I think.
March.
Okay, from March.
So,
But I'm referencing, I'm not just speaking about the pictures that we have, but also the violations that were noted in our packet.
yes.
The history.
No doubt about it, that there have been violations over the year, but I think that his representation was that since he came on a year ago, that really
Yes, sir.
the only violation.
Can you just answer me a question? Just give me a date. When do you think this work is gonna be done?
I can't, well,
So
no,
we
no,
could
no,
talk
no.
another
It's gonna
year.
start, it's starting March. I don't want to give you a
Yeah.
date, and I'm not a liar, and I'm not gonna I'm not gonna
Right.
insult your intelligence, tell you June 28th, and then you say, yeah, okay, and then June 28th comes and it's not done. I'm not gonna insult your
Well,
intelligence.
I'm not
I just
saying-
know that it's gonna start on the 15th, ma'am, okay? With all goes well, this should take about 4 to 5 weeks to complete. Now, if all goes according to plan,
Can I comment on that?
But on the other hand,
We
too,
just received the plan, so how is it gonna start next week? Never mind the fact he's gotta get the plan approved, then he still needs to pull permits. He's talking about electrical work and everything else. This is not someone who can come in and just do it and leave. They have to get permits with the city to do it. So this is gonna take some time after it's approved.
well, I have my biggest concern is that the fire department isn't signing off on it. I guess that's my concern. So if the fire department doesn't sign off on it and we allow it to continue, then it's our problem. Okay? If the fire chief says he won't sign off.
So just to be fair, this is, in my records, this is the only event from this year. Okay, I have a list. I have several events from '22.
On 22.
You know,
So that representation that he made was accurate.
yes, yeah.
I just really need a
But-
time date of when this work's going, and I'm not blaming you. I understand, I have work done at my home, and listen, it could take 6 months to put in a window.
Commissioner
But,
beat me to the punch. There's a date on the drawings of back in last June. Where are we back?
That's what I'm looking at here.
So
This
now
is
you're
what I have
cutting
right
it,
here.
now they're gonna do it. I just find it disingenuous.
I'm not comfortable with continuing the way it's going. I'm just not comfortable till I see something in place and that the fire department can come back and tell me they're comfortable, they're gonna sign. And I am concerned about the entrance and exit. Are you gonna have to go to the back of the building to exit?
No, ma'am. No, the gate in the back of the building is just to segregate the parking lot from our parking lot and his parking lot.
From the
So
hotel and
That's
the-
gonna stay closed, yes, ma'am. So I know that the drawing.
There's
is
no
not-
access going through there from one lot to the other?
No, ma'am, no, ma'am.
I'd just like to point out that although the plan may have been drawn in 2022, there are certain other contractual negotiations that go on and so forth. And that this is not just, I don't think, one company that's involved because of the scope of the work. It's probably going to involve, the actual fabricator of the gates, and then you're going to need the electrical people and the people who do the software and all of that. And you have to negotiate all of those separately sometimes. I think they've indicated their seriousness about this by paying all of these people, putting the down payments down. And I to tell you, I work for the town of Winthrop, and we ordered a fire engine two years ago. And we got notice yesterday that although they've had the contract, we can't get our fire engine because of supply chain, because of other people who had put their bids in earlier, because New York wants 64 of the same apparatus. That's not our fault. We paid, we have a contract with them and so forth. And so what happens is, I think, and, I'm not one of those who blames everything on COVID, the supply chain and the workmanship and all this, we can't get workers. I don't think that's the issue. I do think the issue is that there are so many moving parts to this, but from the operator and the owner's standpoint, they've been moving down the line. And I think you saw that they've made payments in April of, I think they may have made a contract or maybe a payment in April of 2022. They've made another payment of $58,000 this year. And then the back end of the contract is going to, I think it's going to end up to be $124,000 for one company. And then the overall, the aggregate is going to be $350,000. They're under contract to do that. And I know that Sam is not the guy who's talking to these people and negotiating with the individual companies that have their various expertise. And that's why when he says, I don't know when this is going to happen, but I think that, I don't know whether permits have been pulled. I know that they're going to need electrical permits. They're going to probably need some other permits from the city of Revere. That's going to be up to the person who installs it. But if they're going to pull the trigger on 15 May, then we'll see if that happens. And, just as so many projects that, you know, you think are going to, even as small as a bathroom, you think it's going to be 2 weeks, and it turns out to 10. I mean, this is not it's not a big project, but it's not a small one either, and it calls for a number of different companies to come in and do that. I'd be happy to set up a meeting with the whoever's going to be GCing this thing with the fire department and have them go and run through it. I'm certainly not able to do that because I don't have that technical knowledge, and I don't think Sam would be asked by his company. But I think it was important, and it was one of the things that I think Sam and I neglected to maybe mention early on, is that in many, many cases where you have blocked entrances or gates, or you have gated communities, or you have some sort of a steel barrier, the fire department always has some way to get in, whether they have a clicker device or there's some mechanism on the side that's in a box that you get a little code and it'll open. I haven't actually heard about the siren one. I think that's pretty intriguing. But, you know, technology changes day to day. But I think the fire department needs to be dialed into this, as well as the police department. And I don't think, unless I'm reading this plan wrong, I don't know that it restricts vehicles from actually coming onto the property, but I may have not understood the plan as well as some others. But I think where the parking areas are, those are going to be the ones that are going to be segregated, monitored, and restricted. But, I mean, there's another one of my weaknesses. I can't read plans as well as some other people, but, I mean, I'd leave that to the experts.
Well, I mean, I can appreciate Mr. Suda's position, dealing with a corporation the size of Hampton Inn, getting approval for a $300,000 project, I would think would be, you know, somewhat onerous. But we still are here. And Deputy, what are your thoughts here after you listen to this presentation?
Could I just add one other thing? And we're operating under a protocol by which we voluntarily entered into a restriction of a condition whereby a violation would rip the license until the next hearing. I think that worked, and it worked during the two most arduous travel periods. And I don't want to speak on Sam's behalf, but I think in speaking with people who are in management and ownership, they agreed to that in a heartbeat when I told them that. Because I told them, I'm asking for the continuance, it's not your fault. I said, but the only way we can get the continuance is that if the fire or police or ISD or somebody finds a violation, your license is gone, you can't operate until you come back before the commission, and then it will be aired out there. And just before, I didn't mean to jump between your question and the deputy's answer, but I think that might be sort of an interim solution, and I think it may also give some motivation or light a fire under these third-party contractors and say, look, you guys have to get down there and get this done, otherwise we're going to impose a penalty on you. Because obviously they don't want to be operating under those conditions. First of all, without a license for the summer, or under those conditions whereby we're essentially giving up due process rights, but voluntarily, they don't want to be doing that for any extended period of time. So sorry, Dep, I didn't mean to jump in the middle.
I can appreciate that, Counselor, but by the same token, that requires a level of observation and scrutiny that, you know, would be better spent by the city and other places.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, you know, for us to have the fire department go check in that lot every few hours seems like something that really we shouldn't have to be doing. Just putting it out there.
I agree that resources could be deployed better elsewhere, but I don't know what else to.
I appreciate the suggestion, though, thank you.
So,
Deputy?
So I'll add, you know, just glancing through this report again, so to put a report forward like this and jump into contractors right away, to me seems getting a little bit ahead of themselves. Based on what I'm seeing here, this is something that should go to site plan review and be reviewed, because you have you have everyone there, you have the building commissioner, you have the planner, you have fire representation to review this proposal and look at it in terms of access issues and get comments into this design. So this should go before site plan review. And again, I don't know what their contract is with the other vendor, but the way Select has the parking lot with their signs and blocking aisles right now, it's actually one aisle away from the building. So the line they're showing right now is running along the building and behind the building. I don't know how the hotel now gets at their trash dumpsters. There's people that come to the front to drop off and pick up. They have their buses in the back that come around front and drop off and pick up. So I think they need to relook at this in terms of how they're gonna operate as well. And maybe the 154 spaces for the shuttle for Select should be 140. The hotel seems to be able to do okay filling their spaces. Maybe they need to renegotiate their contract with Select to push them a little further away from the building for safety issues.
Well, I mean, it's an interesting idea. However, I mean, at this point, I guess I'm at a loss for where do we go from here, as they say.
So, Mass General Law 148, I forget the particular section off the top of my head, states that the commission and the chief signs off on the license.
Right.
I believe Maggie reached out to a legal reading of that section, because we believe that either of us decide not to sign for the license, then the license revoked. But not quite sure what.
That's not my understanding.
Okay, what the solicitor has concluded, so.
My understanding of it is, based on the briefing that I received, was that we both need to sign off to revoke, or, you know, so.
So upon renewal, how does that work?
I believe it works the same.
Okay.
Right now, they have a license. Right now, the fire department agreed with the license application initially, and we approved it, so we were both on the same page. In order to revoke it, it's my understanding that we both would need to be on the same page in order to revoke it. Okay. And so, I think what
may I suggest then, to get on the same page, we consider a suspension for a couple of months while they go to the site plan, get approval for their changes, and do the modifications to the parking lot for safety.
That's an interesting proposal.
I think,
What do my fellow commissioners think about that? How long would you want to suspend it for? 2 months?
I don't know. Me, I would look for suspension until we have something in hand from the site planning review, and that they have a contract that's going forward. I don't know how long that's going to take. That could take a month, that could take 2 months. As the council just said, you know, these things are slow. This could take forever. So I would be willing for a suspension until we have all the papers in order, and they're ready to go. They're ready to move.
But we are talking about one violation in the course of a year. I mean, I'm not sure if there's been other issues. It could have been just when they caught it. I don't know. I mean,
It's one violation in this calendar year. If in the course of a year, there's about 5.
So it's, well, so then that clarifies the point I was trying to make.
Well, no, when he made his representation that there has only been one violation.
Since he took over.
Right.
In a year, it's the first violation this calendar year, but multiple violations over the past year, according to.
Yes, but this gentleman was not the general manager at that time, is my understanding.
Yes, sir, I've been with the company for 1 year, one full calendar.
And this is the first violation you've had since you took over?
Yes, sir, so then when I came here the first time around, I inherited.
You inherited the issue.
Right.
I was the general manager at the time. So this is my first one throughout the course that I'm aware of. And then again, I don't want to insult anybody's intelligence, because it could have happened.
Talking to the mic.
However, I'm only aware of, I'm sorry, I apologize. I'm only aware of one. Now, I'm not gonna, again, it goes back to, I don't want to insult anyone's intelligence. Not saying it hasn't happened, and if it's been caught, I'm just saying I'm only aware of one. And if, again, it goes back to, Commissioner, it goes back to like, there are people who just cannot obey by the law, so therefore they just leave their car thinking they go upstairs, get something from the room and come back down, and not wanting to go park their car all the way into the parking lot. Those things happen, just like I have people who trespass, who are not authorized to park their car, which also adds to the whole Wildwood overflow. That hopefully the gate is gonna eliminate or minimize the trespassers, because at this point now, you have to pay. Yes, ma'am.
I'd like to bring this to a
Just
vote at this
one
time.
final, to put a sharper point on this, maybe. I've been coming to site plan review for 30 years here. I'm not sure that this falls under site plan review. I'd have to look at the criteria. I've never had to come for a site plan review under its regulations that require site plan review, but if it does, it's fine. But even to use a different nomenclature, whether it's site plan review or it's department head meeting or a collaborative meeting, that's fine. But I would propose, I think a couple of things happen. It's a loss of revenue for the operator, and it's a loss of revenue for the city, it's a loss of jobs and revenue for some of the employees down there. I would suggest that maybe, since they've shown that they've been able to police that facility completely, and I would almost say admirably over the last month, when they knew that this was hanging over them, maybe to continue that for 60 days and have, whatever public safety and administrative personnel that need to take a look at this, and maybe they need to want to suggest some tweaks to the plan. But at least we'd have all the parties at the table, so we don't come back and say, how about this plan? That sometimes that does happen to be at site plan review. And they go, no, that's no good. Well, tell me what will be good. Well, you figure it out. That's not the group that we're looking to meet with, because they have special expertise that we don't. But I'm sure that we can get some representative from a company who I am certain is in a position to make a profit selling and doing this work for Hampton. To come and send a representative. I don't know how the deputy feels about that. I'm just trying to be reasonable, keep everybody working, keep the things flowing, try to keep let these guys self-police the best they can, and they know the onus is on them. It's, they're professionals, and sometimes, as Sam says, you can't control other people's human behavior, but I think they have the obligation and the ability to monitor it and then take the appropriate actions after that. But I defer to the deputy.
And if you notice the signage,
Into the microphone, please, sir.
I'm sorry. And if you notice the sign-in sheet, there are times where the staff saw a car and they marked it, and then they asked the vehicle to be moved. There are times when we caught them. Because again, I don't know if it's human nature or whatever the case may be, people just not everybody's obeying by the law. So when we catch them, we're asked to move the cars. There are times, yes, throughout the course of the 30 days that we've been given the leeway since April, yes, we've caught probably a handful of times where we've had cars parked in an illegal spot. Let's just call it, if it's being a fire lane or wherever the case may be. And we've already rectified those issues. Yes, sir.
Thank you, sir. Deputy?
So the reason I say site plan review is because you'll apply to Frank. Frank, as the city planner, will look at it and say whether it is qualified for site plan review or not, and he will provide direction to the applicant as to what they need to do. So that'll work itself out. Right now, what I sense the hesitancy of the commission to suspend or revoke. So I will alter. Hopefully I don't get in trouble when I get back down the street.
No, I have my own vote, please.
Okay.
I know how I'll vote on this.
So if, another option would be any violation that is encountered until all permits and corrections are made to the property is an immediate vocation, that's something else to consider. I don't.
So Deputy
okay.
Chief, how many more hours are you gonna put into this? So it seems like, and I feel bad, you're up here, you're doing your job.
That seems like a good proposal.
I think we have to back you up. I mean, we've gone through this, and I know he says he's only here a year, but unfortunately, it's the reputation of that hotel that's really hurting. But we can't just ignore that either. It's happened year after year.
On that, if you look at the reviews online,
Right.
in regards to the parking issues,
Right.
they're not very flattering.
And I really don't see that anything's changed. Okay, so we've had the one, but we've also had the problem of the parking at St. Anthony's, parking at Beachmont VFW. So I personally think a suspension until something is put in place that we feel secure with.
I would say, though, that, you know, when you look at the entire picture, that this gentleman standing before us has done a relatively good job of trying to police it. And I think the deputy brings up an interesting proposal that we keep the, you know, one strike and you're out in place. And, you know,
Well, we've done that, and there was one strike.
and it's.
I don't
they're-
like putting
they're
my
still
name
here.
on a letter, and then, you know, we're going out there, and it just doesn't look good for this board. I'm gonna,
Well, would you like to make a motion?
I made a motion to suspend until the deputy chief feels comfortable that they are getting the work done, and they're moving forward. As soon as they're moving forward and we see some paperwork, site planning review board, Frank Stringy, I don't think is here now, if that's where it has to go. I'm looking at these, I honestly can't follow it. And as the deputy chief said also, maybe we've got to cut back on the number of vehicles they have there.
If it makes, Deputy Chief is more welcome to join the meeting tomorrow, just so that he could see that this is actually going into
Absolutely.
place.
I
By
want
all
him
means,
involved.
just, because I don't want you to think I'm just telling you dates. I didn't want to give you an end date, because then I can't give you an end date, but I could certainly give you a starting date that I'm aware of, which is the 15th. And he's more than welcome to join the meeting tomorrow, because I have some corporate folks that are coming in, I have the gate folks are there, and any questions he may have, hopefully they can answer it for him that I cannot.
The kind of
However,
Thank you, sir, thank you.
The kind of money you're putting up, I would think you could push it or get yourself a new contract.
I would make a substitute motion, and my motion would be that we adopt what Deputy Cheever has indicated would be acceptable for the fire department at this point, which is the one strike and you're out proviso, that we would continue to monitor it and we would allow them to operate, and if they did have one strike, the license is immediately revoked.
And I would second that motion.
I would like to be recorded as being opposed.
Very good, thank you very much.
Excuse
So
me,
we're
can I
going to
ask for
conclude this hearing.
clarification?
And the,
Clarification, please.
Was that immediately revoked or immediately suspended? I'm sorry.
Revoked.
Revoked. Okay, thank you.
and you'll have to reapply. I'm not, I think we're operating under a revocation, that's what it was at this. I beg your pardon?
You certainly do.
Yes.
we're not gonna have any violations, so we're not gonna be back here again, with all due respect.
That's
This
why
is,
I would want with the suspension.
this is not what, no, we're not, I don't even wanna think about coming back, with all due respect, Deputy. I'd like to see you, but not in this building. Sorry. We will not be here again. And I know I said that last year, and I kept my promise, and hopefully it was shy of 1 year, but this, and Deputy, by all means, 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, by all means, if you feel comfortable, please come. And they're there, and this is not giving you, no, it's happening.
Very
It's
good.
happening,
Look, we don't
Commissioner.
have look, I'll be honest, you know, you've been upfront with us when you came here. I think the board recognizes that you're earnestly trying to do the right thing. However, you better address Mr. Select.
Yeah, I will.
Because without that piece you're putting yourself at tremendous risk.
Understand.
Allowing someone else to dictate whether or not your license is revoked or not.
100%
So
agree.
that's just a word to the wise.
Yes, sir.
All right, so we will conclude this hearing, and the way it's going to be is that if there is another violation, we are going to revoke the license.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Cheever.
Thank you.
Okay, that concludes the hearing. The next items are communications, of which there are none. The next item would be license renewals, Common Victula, Ambrose Foods LLC, DBA Pizza Hut, 37230 5A Everett Street. That license is I'd make a motion that we approve that license.
I second that motion.
That motion is approved. The next item on the agenda is an adjournment.
June 21,
I'm sorry?
June 21st.
June 21st. I would make a motion that we adjourn till June 21st.
I'll second the motion.
Very good. Meeting adjourned. Thank you very much.
Good luck.